I was nodding, I was smiling. Along the line, I heard a voice, my daughter, look through that window. And when I looked through the window, I saw men and women wearing red garments, purple garments, different colors. I said, God forbid, what am I doing here? So now she started telling me stories. She said, Auntie, she asked me a question which I couldn't answer. She said, Auntie, you know, this is where I get my power from. I said, power. In fact, that was what made me to spit out the water. I spat out the water. She said, I mean, you didn't swallow this water all this while. I ran out. When I ran out, remember, when we were going in, it was just the way it is now, that you could look at the sky, you see the sky, you see everything. Please, I'm going somewhere. And I ran out, getting to the gate. Now, I could not see the sky. The big gate was chained with, it had chain and a big padlock. I was like, I am finished. The only way I could see the sky is if I could only look up this way. I said, this is the end of my life. I was contemplating on what to do. And somehow, I had a voice. Then, a big giant came out. One big giant that, I don't know. I don't know how to describe that man. He came out with other giants, but not as tall as he was. He asked them, have you locked the gate? They said yes. I looked, in fact, I concluded that my end had come. He said, but this small gate is not locked. They said, yes, we have chained it. We had sent someone to go and buy the padlock. So I stood there, and they were just moving around. They were bigger than I was in that revelation. They were moving around. I stood there myself. I said, God, so this is how I will end my life. The next thing I heard is that my daughter, pull the gate and I will break the chains. He said, pull the gate and I will break the chain. When I heard it the third time, I just went to the gate. What I saw was fire. The fire came, consumed the chain, and I ran out. But it didn't end there. When I ran out, 12 masquerades were chasing me. They were running after me. I ran. In fact, at a point I got tired. I stood there. I said, let me rest. As I was resting, it got to a point I said, if I don't get up now, these people will catch up with me. When I stood up for me to run, I saw another 12 coming from the other side. That is 24 of them. There was nothing I could do. But I heard a voice that said, my daughter, turn right. I turned. I saw a house somewhere there. He said, run into that house. I ran into the house. And when I got into that house, I met an old woman with white hair all through. I told myself, this is another witch. You know, normally, when you see an old woman like that with gray hair, you just feel, this one, you will consume me. So, but I saw her, she was extracting palm oil. I don't know, how many of us know what is called palm oil here? It's oil that we used to cook where I come from. Like you have your cooking oil. So she was extracting the palm oil. I told her, I said, Mama, please, let me help you. She said, no. I insisted. She said, no. I told her where I come from, we're taught that if you meet someone doing something, you should at least render help. She said, okay, since I insist, I should come. I went in. I did that with her. But while I was doing that, I was looking at her somehow. Hey, this woman, I believe she's with these people. Somehow, she stood up. She left. She was walking towards those people. I said, I'm finished. She walked up to them and turned back because I could see her through the window. She stood up the second time. She walked up to them and turned back. When she came back, she told me, my daughter, those people are there with guns with every ammunition you can name here on earth. They are there with guns. They are there with axe. They are there with cutlass, with everything. But I understand that you've not done anything to them. I don't know why they're after your life. I was listening to her. So she now told me, my daughter, come. She walked to the back of her house. She opened the door, walked to the backyard. Then there is this little farm. She told me, this is my backyard farm. It's a bit bushy. This is wilderness. It is small. It's not, the distance is not much, but it's because it has grown so much. My daughter, just follow this way. By the time you get to the other side of it, it is freedom all through. Those people will not see you. You will walk the other way and you will do your things. I said, Ma, are you sure? And it is bushy. She said, yes, that is just what I have told you. Just a little wilderness and everything will be over. Church, I woke up, I thought it was a dream. I was to go and do my master's in UK. My brother came, he married a Kenyan, and he told me I should follow him. I came to Kenya. When I came to Kenya, everything changed. My brother called me, said, you see what? You have to do this business. When you do this business, just one trip of this business, you can make 20 million. You know you're not married. You can even, if you make money, you can marry a man by yourself. And if you're not okay with the man, you can divorce him. At least by that time he has given you children. I looked at him, I said, what is wrong with my brother? And I told him, I said, brother, I cannot. He said, you're a fool, you're an idiot. There's nothing he didn't call me. Intentionally, my brother will, at age 36, my brother will call me. I said, what do you want to do with your life? I said, nothing. He will beat me. This man will beat me to the point that all the people living in that estate, they will think that he will throw that person, whoever he was beating, they will throw the person from up, down. If I go to church and I come back, that one is sure. I will be beaten. To the point that if I have to go to church, I will wake up around 4. I will sponge myself. I will use towel to clean my body. I want to go and meet God. You are not my God. That's what I kept telling myself. Because I knew quite well, if I splash the water and he gets the sound, he will wake up. And that will be a story that he used to do before. He will start telling you stories. Before you know it, it's 12 o'clock. When he realizes it's 1 o'clock, he will smile and he will leave you. This continued. This beating continued. This beating continued. Till God revealed something to me. I will have this picture of mine. I will admire my picture, admire it. I say, so I'm this beautiful. I'll place it under my pillow. The daughter will come and remove it. And she will tell me, Aunt Toby, you see, this picture belongs to you. But my father said, it's now rightfully mine. I will get it from her. This revelation came the 3rd time. It was on a Sunday. I packed my things. The children saw me packing my things because they were on midterm break. They asked me, Auntie, where are you going to? I said, you people said your father will be coming next week. They said, yes. I said, I want to go home. I want him to send me home. But actually, that wasn't what I did. I packed my things. I took my bag, all my things. If I move this one to this point, I wanted to make sure that the children doesn't call him and tell him that I'm leaving, and he will tell them to pick something somewhere and come and put in my bag. I avoided that. I left his house. He didn't stop there. By God's grace, I got married. We went to him for the introduction. He now told me, I will want you to come back. I said, it's okay, sir. One day he called me, I should come. I said, okay. But within me, I knew I was not going to go. When I told my husband I wasn't going, he said, no, you're born again. Why not forgive them? I said, I've forgiven them, but I want to keep a distance. He said, no, just go. Brethren, I went. Reaching his house, the first thing he told me is that he will want me to tell my husband that I will be going to church for women's program. But after telling my husband that I should come to his house, I shouldn't let my husband know that I was going to my brother's house. He asked me, are you going to tell him that? I said, yes, of course. I was going to tell my husband everything that we discussed. So there was no way I would say no. He said, good. Make sure you don't tell him you're coming. Tell him that you people have women program in church. That is what we are going. And he forgot that my husband is a leader in church. So if there was a program, he will be the one to announce it. I went home. I told my husband, I said, treasure, I don't know why you insisted. I don't know, I'm not comfortable with this. Church, after some, let me say 1 week or 1 week plus, he called again that he would want me to come. My husband insisted I go. I went. The moment I would just pray. Any food they give me, I tell them I'm fasting. The moment I got into his house, he stood up from where he was and he came to the seat where I was seated. He started, Obi, are you pregnant? Within me, he was pressing my stomach. Are you pregnant? I said, back to sender. I didn't say it out because of the respect. Where we come from, we have a lot of respect for our elders. I couldn't challenge him, but within me, I was telling him, back to sender. I prayed it at his doorpost. I said, Father, every negativity that I will encounter here, it will not follow me because of his kind of person. After doing that, he went back to his seat. He now told me, Obi, you know what? I may be dying anytime. But one thing I want you to do, I will be calling you at odd hours of the day, of the night. Between the hour of 1 to 2, I will be calling you. Please, anytime I call you, make sure you pick my call. I say, yes, sir. Are you sure you will pick? I say, brother, why not? Do we have issues? Why wouldn't I pick your call? I left we finished, we talked, we chatted. I left his house. Behold, he carried out his threats. For 2 years, I didn't have a child. I didn't know what the problem was. And there is this, my brother-in-law too, who had not gotten a child. So my husband was telling his own younger sister to tell that man that he should go to so pastor, since he doesn't believe in deeper life where we come from. He said, please go to, there is another man of God who is like that man. My husband's sister asked my husband, what about you? Do you have a child? And you're telling someone to go to somewhere. My husband stood up after that call. In fact, he cut the call in a haste. He called me. We held hands together. He told God that this challenge is for you. You must show yourself that you are God that gives children. You must show yourself that you are God that opened the womb of the barren. You are God that changes situation. He talked to God and we left it at that. Brethren, within a short time, I conceived. I was in a dream. A woman brought a stone and stoned my stomach. I woke up and I was bleeding. That was it. It went. We said, no, this cannot be. After a while, I took in again. So when I took in, nobody knew. It was only my mother, my eldest brother's wife. I grew up with them. we continued. One day I went to town and I met my sister-in-law, my brother's wife here. She looked at me so much. She said, "Auntie, are you pregnant?" I was like, "Auntie, yourself." She said, "No, nah, Auntie, tell me, are you pregnant?" "Church, please forgive me. I'm going somewhere." "Are you pregnant?" I said, "Auntie." He said, "You're pregnant." I said, "Yes." After a little while, she asked me, we were together with my husband in my shop. "So when will you give birth?" I said, "Do I know? Am I God that put the baby there?" She said, "Auntie, you're supposed to know now. How many months?" I said, "Me, I don't know." And truly, I didn't know how many months. Because even the first pregnancy that I miscarried, I was in my period for up to 5 months, normal period for 5 months before it was dizziness and everything that made me to discover I was pregnant. So the child didn't even grow very well. Finally, that one went. So the same thing happened, but now it was the 4th month that I discovered. But me being someone that I don't like food, so with what happened before, I started eating. I said, I don't know when the next one will get in. I carried the pregnancy. My sister-in-law kept asking me. She went back to her base. She will call me. She will ask me, "Auntie, which date were you given?" I said, "In fact, Auntie, to be sincere with you, I ran 4 different scans. And they are giving me 4 different dates. So how am I supposed to know which date?" The God that put the baby there will bring the baby out at the right time. That was my answer. I carried this pregnancy 9 months, 10 months, 11 months. No labor, nothing. One day I had rashes on these 2 sides. And I told myself, I was going to town. I told my husband, "These rashes I don't understand. I want to go to the hospital and check so that if it's coming from inside, something can be done because of the baby inside. I wouldn't want the baby to have infection or anything." It was when we got to the hospital that the doctor told us, he said, "Madam, you go and deliver." I said, "I'm not having labor, nothing." And at 9 months, my water broke in the house. Everywhere, my bed, very hot. Mothers, you know what it means when your water breaks. Now I was rushed to Mama Lucy. Getting to Mama Lucy, they checked me. They said, "Your service is closed. There is nothing. Everything is intact." I was trying to explain to them. They said nothing. We went back until this 11 months, going to 12 months. When we got to the hospital, the doctor said, "My dear, you go and give birth." Me, I like asking questions. I told him, I said, "Doctor, I'm not feeling any labor." He said, I said, "Go and give birth." He said, "I'm not feeling labor." So my husband knows me very well. That since he doesn't want to explain to me, the next thing I would do is, "Doc, I beg you, I cannot go there because I don't know why you said I should go and give birth when I'm not having labor." So my husband took up this thing. He started speaking Kiswahili with him. He explained to my husband. He said, "Once you give birth, the rashes will clear. That shows that you're overdue." We went. I was induced. While my husband was running around to pay the bills, my sister-in-law, I didn't call her. I didn't tell her anything. She kept calling. She will call my husband. She will call me. She will call my husband. She will call me. She will call my husband. And none of us picked the call. So it was until my husband went far from me that he picked the call. And he asked my husband, "I've been calling Auntie Obi. Where is she? She's not taking my calls." My husband said, "She's not where I am right away." He said, "Where is she?" My husband said, "Call her. If her phone is close to her, she will answer." She kept calling. I didn't answer her. I got in. The next day, I delivered my baby. The moment I was taken to the labor, to the ward, that was when I called her to fulfill all righteousness. I said, "Auntie, how are you?" We greeted. I put to bed. She asked me, "How?" when, and where. I looked at. I said, Auntie, I want to take it that she didn't get what I had said. I said, Auntie, I've delivered. Since she wanted to be a midwife, at least let her come now that I have delivered. She said, how, when, where? I cut my phone. I called my husband. I told my husband. My husband said, I even called her, and these were her words. I said, okay, no problem. The same person who wanted to be a midwife to me did not come. She stays here in Kenya. She didn't come. My people came from Nigeria. After 3 weeks, that was when she came, because they were around. What happened was this. My husband was going home from the hospital. So the landlady of this, my brother and the wife, where they used to live, were close through her. Now she needed something. There is something we call obono, African mango seed, because she prepares herbal pills for slimming people and the rest of them. She had asked me to bring them for her, which I brought, and she paid and had the balance of 9,000. That balance of 9,000, my husband was like, okay, since I have some money, let me go collect it from her. When I collect it from her, I will add to what I have so that I will not run out of money. He went. When he met the woman, they greeted, because that woman loved me so much. When she asked after me, my husband told her, oh, that is even why I'm here. She's at the hospital. She was like, is she sick? He said, no, ma, she put to bed. She didn't even know when she said. She said, you adopted or she gave birth? He said, Mommy, she's an elderly woman. Mommy, no, we didn't adopt. She gave birth. In fact, she's still at the hospital. They are quite close, not far from her, where her office is. She said, Pastor Charles, you said your wife gave birth. She carried the pregnancy. My husband said yes. She said, you know what, Pastor Charles? Each time I see you, I always say, Kai, you mean this man will stay all through his life without having a child? Because I was told by your wife's sister-in-law that your wife will never give birth. I encountered that God that changes every situation. I got the experience of what God can do. I got the experience that God is everything that I needed in life to sustain me, to carry me through, to take me to the place of my blessing, to take me to the place of my healing, to take me to the place where my tears will no longer run down. But when it's running down to the glory of God. It's running down to declare the glory of God. That I am shedding the tears of joy to tell people that God can change situations. It didn't stop there. I had my second one. When I had my third child, in the hospital, there is this lady, I don't know, she would just lie down like that without bringing down her net. So I felt mosquitoes will be biting the child. So I called her from my side when others had gone. I called her, I said, my dear, why don't you bring down the net so that mosquitoes won't bite the baby? She told me. She said, okay. She just reluctantly brought it down and didn't also cover the wrapper I kept seeing around there. So when I noticed that, I just walked up to her. I said, I wanted to go help her.